All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Daf Yomi in Masechtas Pesachim. So we left off in Yud Zayin Amud Beis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the bottom. Iboilu. So a question was raised. Question was asked. So Iboilu Mikalim hu de Haderbe of Abayichlin Krabiesi of Shem Sriulei. All right, what's going on here? So we discussed yesterday the shita of Rabbi Yehuda. We had a kash in him, and then we said he was chayzer regarding mashkin. Right, we're going to be continuing talking about mashkin liquids, right, as to their capacity and ability to be metame other things. So he was chayzer from that which he said that they can be metame. So is it just that mashkin, right, liquids cannot be metame, right, of kalim utensils, but they can be metame eichlin, or does he hold like Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon, who hold that they can't even be metame food? So let's see. So I'm Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Tashma. Come and listen. If you have a regular cow, right? Regular cow who drank mechatas. Now mechatas has a special halacha, right? There's a halacha by mechatas. It's not similar to other liquids. The mechatas, the water that was used for a sprinkle, right? The spring water with the hyssop, right? The whole process that they had for to be matayr people who were tamei from tumas mace, right? They go ahead and sprinkle. Right, 7 days. So the question, how there's a special halacha that whoever touches that water, whatever water that comes into contact with, there's a special chumar by that mechatas, that water. Okay, so that water is a type of water that's matame, but it's not exactly the same tuma as regular liquid. So anyway, if you have a cow that went ahead and drank it, and then they shechted that cow, basara tame, the basar, the meat from that animal, is tamei, right? Because it was tamei from the mechatas, right? And Rabbi Yehuda says, right, top of the page in Yechasav Aleph, batla b'meha. Now, and Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it's batal inside its in its kishkas, in its innards. Now, if you hold that he was completely but when it comes to kalim, but not food, food is still matame, right? So my batal legamri, right? Why would you say that it's batal in the inside of the animal when the animal drinks it? Need tuma chamura loy mitamo tuma kalmia nitma, right? It's one thing to say that it's batal in the innards, right? This is Rabbi Yehuda. It's one thing it's batal in the innards, but it should still have the capacity to be matame the basar, which is oichel, right? Which is food. Right, when you check the animal, the basar becomes food. So I understand it's not mechatas, but it should be matami because of its food. So the answer is no. My batal nami. So what does it mean when it says it's mevatla? Batal matuma chamura about tuma kalamituma. Maybe it just means that there's no halachic tuma of mechatos, but it has the regular standard of being tamei. From as oichel, which was metame from water, right? So Michlal the Tanakama savar tuma chamura nami mitamu, right? So right, the Tanakama over there said, right? He said parshas mechatas basar tame, right? So the Tanakama held it was tame, right? Now like Rabbi Yehuda. So my butler, your answer was so but the Tanakama said tuma chamura nami mitamu. So ha basar tame ktani. It says over there that the basar is tummy. So what's he coming to argue with then? So our answer is no. Kula Rabbi Yehuda. Really, it's all Rabbi Yehuda. Missing a part. That's how it should read. If a cow goes ahead and drinks the mechatas, which has a special level of tuma, nevertheless therefore the basar is tummy. But medvamurim tumakala. That's referring to tumakala in terms of its capacity to go ahead and be metami foods. Tuma chamura, but however the unique tuma of mechatas low. Rabbi Yehuda Omer batla memel, because he says that Rabbi Yehuda says it's metami in its innards. And Ravashi gives a different answer. He says, no, really that what you say, right? It's batal and its innards according to Rabbi Huda. It means not only is it batal from a chatas, it's even batal even types of food. Food is matame. So mishum dahavi le mashka saruach, because this is considered to be mashka. It is a liquid, but it's a liquid saruach, right? It's something which is disgusting, right? And therefore it doesn't have the ability to be matame as other mashkin. It's not a drinkable liquid. Fine. Now we had earlier on Daf. We saw earlier on Daf Tazayin. We had a case of a suffix mashkin. So he said over there, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon Oimrim, la'eichlin tameyim, la'kelim tahirim. If the doubt is regarding food, right, then it's tummy as to whether the food is tummy. Then if it's tummy or not. That we say that if it comes to food, then it's tummy. However, if it's kelim, if it's utensils, then it is tahor. And Amar Rabbi Chaim, Rabbi Reish Lakish, Rabbi Yossi, B'shitas Rabbi Kiva, Rabu Amr. All right. So right now we're going to assume actually at the end of today's daf, we're going to actually come back to this what we're saying right here, but we'll say for now. So that Rabbi Yossi is in the shita of his Rebbe, of his Rebbe Rabbi Kiva, the Daresh Yitma as Yitame. Right. The pasuk says, I'm just reading the first pasuk. It says, "V'chol kli cheres." I'm just reading the full pasuk, which is brought on the side. Chol kli cheres asher yipol mehem el teicho, right? Any kli cheres, any earthenware vessel that has inside it, el teicho kol asher b'seicho yitam. So anything that falls inside it, let's say you have a sheretz that falls inside an earthenware vessel, whether it's in an oven or a pot, and a sheretz is inside. So all the other food, right, is yitame, right? It's metame, that which is inside it. And therefore, and also you can't go ahead and be metayr, an earthenware vessel, and therefore you have to go ahead and break it. So the pasuk over there says the daresh yitma yitame. We learn over there that it is metame other things, right? Yitame, right? Anything that's inside it, yit, right? So it says, even though it's yitma, right? Yitame has the ability to be metame other things. Now, that's now we learn in the Mishnah. So where do we see this drasha? It says, Babi Yaim Darash Rabbi Kiva on that day, which was when they appointed Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah to become the Nasi, right? They let everyone in, and there were a lot of halachas that were discussed that day. So Bob Yom Darash Rabbi Kiva, v'kol kli cheres asher yipo mehem v'chulei, right? Any kli cheres that falls inside it, asher it's eina imer tamei ela yitma. It doesn't say tamei, right? The thing is yitma. Right? Sounds like not only those things inside it become tamei, but they have the capacity and the ability to be metame other things. Right? So it says, so yitame acherim. So we see over there that if something in there becomes a sheni, right? Because now, right? Because anything inside it will become a sheni, right? That has the ability to be metame other things. So Rabbi Kiva darshans the word yitma as yitame over there. And now also over here, over here, how does he darshan? It says v'chol mashke asher yishte, v'chol mashke asher yishte, v'chol kli yitma. So it says yitma as yitame. He darshans also as yitame. So it says over there, any mashke, any drink that he would drink, and any kli yitame will be matame other things. So yitame l'tame tumas eichlin. It's matame other foods, right? Maybe it means that the liquid has the ability to be matame as other foods, as we're suggesting now, because that was what we said earlier. That's matame foods and not kalim. All right. So maybe it means matame foods, like you're trying to suggest, or maybe something else. Maybe it's matame other drinks, right? So a mashke perhaps has the ability to be matame other mashke. So Amarta loy kachaya. So he says, no, it doesn't go like this. So this is my loy kachaya. What does that mean? We don't find that tuma has the ability to matame the similar like. So in other words, food being matame other food, or liquids being matame other liquids. So we don't find it. And Ravina Omar, even from the pasuk, you can't suggest it'll be matame mashkin. Why is that? Because it says yitama latame tumas mashkin. It says yitama to be matame tumas mashkin, right? So it says the yitama the sefer latame tumas mashkin. And if you think to say that yitama means it has the ability, the liquid has the ability to be matame other mashkin, yitama the reisha nami latame tumas mashkin, right? If that's the case, that when it says Yitamei, right, in the first part of the pasuk, right, because the pasuk reads Mikol Eichel Asher Yechel Asher Yavo Alav Mayim Yitama, right, or Yitma V'chol Mashka Asher Yishte B'chol Kli Yitma. It says Yitma twice in the pasuk, right? So if it's talking about the same thing to be Metame other mashkin, so the Gemara asks, if that's the case, Niarvinu v'nichtavinu, write all as one pasuk. Mikol Eichel Asher Yechel Asher Yavo Alav Mayim V'chol Mashka Asher Yishte B'chol Kli Yitma, right? So Trey Yitma Lamali. Why do you have to say it twice then? One, it says food. Any food is matame, and any drink is matame. If they're both, if the subject is to bring matame is both the same thing, mashkin. So why do you say Yitma twice? Right? So Elo Yitma the ratio latami tumas mashkin, Yitma the sefer latami tumas seichlin. Rather, so it's the opposite, right? Or in other words, in the ratio, I was talking about food, which is tameh, and it can be matame other things. That's referring to being matame mashkin. And in the sefer the pasuk, when it's talking about that mashkin is tameh, and that which is matame, it's matame food, right? So each one is matame the opposite: food into drink, drink into food. Oh, but there's a third thing that can become tameh, right? There's eichel, there's mashkin, and what about kalim? What about utensils? So the Gemara says no, Valav, and the Gemara says Valav kavachimer, and it is maybe make a kavachimer. Uma kli shenatame mashka ematame kli. So a kli itself, right, which can be matame drinks, it cannot be matame other kalim. So mashka habai machmas kli. So a drink, right, which is tame because it was in a kli, right? Eino din shlei tamas kalim. Certainly that can't be matame kalim, right? If kalim itself can be matame other kalim, so water that became tummy from kalim certainly can't be matame other kalim because it came from the kayach of that kli. So the Gemara says, "I ve'ema ki lo mitami mashkin habai machlas kli, but mashkin ba machlas sheretz hachinam to be tamu." Well, maybe there's two types of mashkin that it can become tummy. One is mashkin that we've been discussing if it was in a kli. Maybe that type of mashka can't be matame other kalim. But maybe there's another type of mashka that maybe has a chumrah of tuma that has the capacity to be matame other kalim. And what is that? What if that liquid came in contact with a dead sheretz, right? So that's mashkin above machlas sheretz. Maybe hachinami mitame. Maybe that has the capacity and the ability to go ahead and be matame other kalim. So the Gemara says no. Mashkin haba machmas sheretz miksivi. Does the pasuk talk about any liquids that were matame from sheretz? Right. The only time it says if it's sheretz basically fell into a kli that has other things in it, such as liquids, right? But it doesn't say that the liquid came in contact with the sheretz, right? And v'lav kava, and then go to the top of the page, v'lav kava chaymer kasi, right? Right, you can make a kavachimer. Ma mashkin haba machmas kli matamin. If you have mashkin that comes from a kli is matami. Mashkin haba machmas sheretz lokoshkin. Certainly, that mashkin that comes from a sheretz shouldn't that have the ability to matami other things. So the answer is right. So no, we have a halacha that even if we learn out something from a kavachimer, right, it can't go any stronger. So since over there, that over here that it can only be matame other foods and not kalim. So to over here, it can only be matame food and not kalim. It can't be stronger than that which we learn it out from. Fine. So that was that. Now it says itma dereisha heichi darish. All right. So now we were discussing the second part of the pasuk over there, which it says, and any mashka, right, that you drink the b'chol kli, and any utensil yitama. If the utensil is tameh, then it has the ability to be tameh other things such as food, right, which we said. Okay, but what about the first part of the pasuk? Now we're just going back, not necessarily not speaking on that. Now we're speaking in general. How do you understand the first pasuk? The first part of the pasuk which says Mikola eichel asher yechel asher yavo alav mayim yitma. Right, any food, right, that will come upon it, that water, right, will be matame. So the pasuk says Yitma the Reisha Heichi Darsh. So how's he darshan Yitma the pasuk? So Mikol Chalisher Yechalisher Yavo Love Mayim Yitma. It says, and how do you learn it? Yitame L'Tame Samashkin. So it has the ability, right, to go ahead and be that any food has the ability to be metame other things. So once it becomes tame from liquids, this food has the ability, the capacity to go ahead and be metame other liquids. So maybe, okay, who says this food has the capacity to go ahead and be matame mashkin? Maybe we're saying it's to go ahead and be matame other kalim. So matir kavachaymer. You can say kavachaymer. Uma mashke shematami eichel ena matami kli. Like by drinks earlier, we said only has the ability to be matami food and not kli. So eichel she'ein matami eichel ena din shtoi tami kli. So food which cannot be contaminated and be matame food certainly can't be matame kalim. So mani mikaya mitma. So therefore, what do you learn for the pasuk of mitma? The tames samashkin shein alul nekabel tuma. Therefore, it's teaching it, which we said earlier, that if the food becomes tame, then it has the ability to be matame other drinks, right? But not be matame kalim or other foods. So there, why? Because a mashkin is alulin lekabel tuma, right? It's very susceptible to tuma, right? It's very easily become tuma. So Gemara says, "Ma'iri mashkin mishum dalulin lekabel tuma." Typically, mishum dalekami dechrini. Why are you saying that the food is matame drinks? Because those are right alulin lekabel tuma, right? They're prone to go ahead and become tame, right? Just say there's three things, right? It can't be kalim, it can't be food, so it must be mashkin, right? There's no other choice as to what this food is going to be matame. So the Gemara says, no, haki kamar. This is what it means to say. If you say that eichel, which is chamar, it has the ability to be matame mashkin, therefore it can go ahead and be matame a kli. So we said no. How chumar de mashkin hu? The reason why it's matame mashkin is only because it's a chumrah, we say, by mashkin. Because those are susceptible to tumah. And what does it mean that's susceptible to tumah? It's prone to become tummy. What does that mean? Because normally foods have to be they have to be moistened in order for their ability to be makabel tuma. However, when it comes to mashkin, it doesn't need any sort of hechsher for it to become tummy. It itself is tummy. It's always ready to go and become tummy if it makes contact with anything else. And then it says yitma. What does that mean? So we learn over there halacha that yitma, it can go ahead and be matame other things, that it can't be matame just like it, right? So to know that's halacha. In other words, a food can't be matame a food, a drink can't be matame a drink, right? So the Gemara says mehacha nafka. What we learn that halacha from here. We learn that from somewhere else. Mehacha nafka. Somewhere else it says v'chiyutan mayim al zera v'nafa min avleisam alav tamehu. It says over there, if you have put water on a zera, on a seed, which is also food, right? So there's water on top of food, and then it comes in contact with a sheretz, with the veil of it, with the carcass of a sheretz, right? Tamehu says hu tame vein aisa tuma kiyaitziba. So there, no, we learn from there that it becomes tame, but it can't be matame other foods. So only the food is tame, but it can't be matame other foods. So the Gemara answers, really. So why do you have two sources for the same halacha, right? So Gemara answers that mashkin can't be matame mashkin. So chad b'mashkin abai machlas sheretz, v'chad mashkin abai machlas kli. Because two different types of mashkin. One is mashkin that comes, it became tame. Why? Because it came in contact with the dead sheretz. And the other one is a mashkin that is tame because it was a tame kli. It's tzrichi, and we need both reasons. Why? Or both of them learned out from the psukim. If you'd only know referring to any mashkin that comes from a kli, because maybe over there the water is not that chamer because it only came tummy through a kli, not in contact with the sheretz. About mashkin aboy machlas sheretz to chamire. But if you have mashkin that became tummy because it came in contact with the sheretz, maybe I would say over there, since that mashkin is so tummy, therefore it has the ability to matame other mashkin. Okay, so then just teach in the pasuk, you have it one time, and teach you that even in the case of liquids that became tummy from a sheretz, right, cannot be matame other liquids, and certainly I would know that since that can't be matame other mashkin, so too mashkin that that only became tame through it being in a kli, those can't be matame mashkin. So the answer is no. Milsa dasi b'kavachemer because of lakas. Sometimes we have it that even though something can indeed be learned out through logic, through a kavachemer, nevertheless sometimes the Torah does go ahead and have a pasuk and have an actual source to it. Fine, that was that sugya. Done. Now we're not finished yet. So we mentioned earlier, right, that Rabbi Yosi, right, we had earlier on Amud Aleph, right, we said Rabbi Yosi b'shitas Rabbi Kiva Rabbo Amra, right? Rabbi Yosi was going in the shita of his Rebbe, and that was how to darshan the word yitma as yitame. Now the Gemara says over here. Amar le Ravina Rav Ashi, Amar Rava lo Rabbi Yosi savak Rabbi Kiva, lo Rabbi Kiva savak Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yosi doesn't like Rabbi Kiva, and Rabbi Kiva doesn't like Rabbi Yosi. So they're two different shitas. So how can you say he's going the shita of his Rebbe? Samarle, Rabbi Yosi b'shitas Rabbi Kiva, Rabbu Amra v'lei leisirle. So he says no, he's going the shita of Rabbi Kiva, but he himself doesn't hold like that. All right, now we have to see what it's talking about, and which this will lead, I guess, into tomorrow. We'll start the sugya today, and then we'll go weiter tomorrow. Mitzvah. So Amalei Rav Ashi Rav Kahana. Rabbi Yosi lo savak Rabbi Kiva. I understand Rabbi Yosi doesn't hold like Rabbi Kiva over there. Now, what was that case? The case of there's Zitama, the original source of Rabbi Kiva was the case of you have a earthenware vessel, and you have tuma comes in there, and there's something else in there which becomes a sheni, and that sheni has the capacity to go ahead and make a shlishi, right? So I understand Rabbi Yosi doesn't hold like Rabbi Kiva. Why? The tiny we learned about some Rabbi Yosi minay Ravi b'kodesh puzzle. How do I know with a Ravi when it comes to kodesh? So in other words, you have something which kodesh, as we explained earlier, there's something with higher level of kedusha. There's more levels of tuma. There's Risha, there's Avatuma, Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Ravi, and even Chamishi, right? But when it comes to things that are less, such as Truma, or certainly Chulin, those don't have as many degrees of Tuma. Some Rabbi Yosi Minay Ravi b'kodesh hu pasul. How do I know by Ravi that kodesh it's pasul, that it's a fourth, it's still pasul? In other words, it's no good. You could say, oh, maybe it's not a shlishi, so therefore it's okay. So no, it's still pasul, right? The dinu, and it's a kavah chaimer. A person who is a mechusar kippurim, a person who lacks, right? He did not bring his karbonos yet. He's mechusar kippurim, right? He's missing his kippur. He's missing his atonement. He's waited his allotted time, and now comes the 8th day or whatever day he is to bring his carbon, and he did that. So he's allowed to go ahead and drink and eat truma. However, he can't go ahead and have a hekdesh. So shlishi shapasal b'truma. So you have a shlishi, something which is only a shlishi, which is no good as truma. If something shlishi, you can't eat it as truma. Eino did shiaser vi b'kodesh. Right? Isn't it obvious that since the kodesh is a higher level than truma, so if it's a shlishi, right, certainly it can make a revi b'kodesh. We know that shlishi medoraisa is a doraisa. Shlishi b'kodesh is doraisa, and revi is learned from there. That's possible from a kal v'chemer. And now tomorrow, Mr. Shem will get into one of the sources that a shlishi is a shlishi b'kodesh is a daraisa, and Ravi is from a kal v'chomer. And we'll stop over here. Everyone have a wonderful day and enjoy the beautiful sunshine.